As soon as the door opened, I was embraced with a hug and kiss on the cheek from Angela, Roberto's mom, and she'd start each conversation the same way. Mi niña, Alejandra, ya están listos los frijoles. Mind you, I was supposed to be working for her as Roberto's tutor, but that's Hispanic hospitality for you. I'd sit down to eat, and she would give me an update of Roberto's progress in school. She was checking his grades routinely each day, telling him to stop playing video games so he could do his math problems. Essentially, a super involved mom who wants her son to succeed. And to me, that was refreshing after having tutored kids whose parents were pretty much absent from their educational experiences. But I also took note of the tension that existed between Alex and his mom each time I went over to tutor. Sometimes she was a little overbearing, and sometimes he wasn't on top of his schoolwork. Neither of those behaviors are abnormal or uncommon. But what is significant is Roberto wanting to be a doctor, and he has a supportive mother who wants him to succeed and accomplish all of his life goals. But she doesn't know what she can do to help him get there, other than consistently tell him to keep trying hard in school. When he falls behind in English class, she can't help him do the readings or write his papers. When she wants to ask his teachers for help, she can't. They don't speak Spanish, and she doesn't speak English. This is the challenge that many Hispanic children face when A, their parents don't speak English and can't help them with homework, and B, their parents themselves haven't gone to college or sometimes even finished high school. I'm so fortunate that throughout my life, I had both my parents who helped me with schoolwork. Despite my dad not learning English until he moved to the States, he now has a doctorate. Both my parents were models of excellence of how far I could go with my education, and in turn, of how far that education could take me. But I see that this is not a reality for many Hispanic families. The language and culture barrier creates challenges. Roberto was pretty good at math, but when it came to his English and language arts classes, he shut down and seemed to put in less effort. He said that he just didn't like these subjects as much, but I think as a Latinx, he was conditioned to think he couldn't excel in these subjects. Hispanic students in our public school system are at a disadvantage if their parents don't have the ability to sit down to read with them in English from a young age. If children are read to consistently and develop this habit from a young age, they're more likely to enjoy reading later on, have more expanded vocabularies and higher reading levels, thus naturally excelling more in school. So how do we compensate for the gap? Society needs to recognize that these are common challenges that Hispanic students face and create ways to level the playing field. Teachers can hold office hours, much like college professors do, to normalize students seeking additional help outside of class time. They can be mindful of putting students into supportive teams. They can use culturally relevant pedagogy so that students of all identities feel included and valued. They can recognize parents like Angela as an asset, a valuable contributor to their child's education, in spite of a language barrier and lack of college degree. They can develop supportive programs that incorporate parents into the school community and possibly gain the language skills so they feel empowered to support their children. When I'm lucky enough to have my own group of students, I hope to elevate them to capitalize on their parents' experiences to foster their own growth. I hope to meet and encourage families to access community resources so they can be there for their kids in the most useful way possible. And I will continue to help my own peers recognize the inequities that plague our education system and the ways in which we can accommodate and adapt for the betterment of all students.